you want to paint while you're going, by all means.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Oh, I drank half of it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. May the force be with you. It is Star Wars time. And yes, just like Beyonce, I have changed outfits yet again in a very short amount of time. And this one, special for my dear friend, Mr. Rodel Gonzalez. Rodel, welcome to the Chuck Jones Creative Side chat for Virtual Comic Con 2021, sir.
Hello. I'd like to say hi to everyone who's online already, and it's great to be here. Thanks,
So
Ben.
I want to let everybody know we're streaming live to YouTube right now and on Zoom. If you have any questions for Rodel, please post them in the YouTube chat. They'll get them to me. I'll be able to ask Rodel. Or if you're watching on Zoom, pop it in the chat here, and then I'll be able to ask Rodel those questions as well. So questions are open, and everything that we're going to see tonight showing up on screen is available at chuckjonescatalog.com. You can see Rodel's CDCC, Comic-Con, whatever. It's one of those. It's one of the top links in the nav when you hit chuckjonescatalog.com. We've got a ridiculous amount to cover tonight. And I, as you can tell, nerding out just a little bit. So we're going to take that off because it's a little warm. Rodel, it is, I've known you for a little while now, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, and I have some of your artwork here. So not only, do I admire you, I also collect your work. And man, I got to tell you, you're just a down-to-earth, cool dude. You've got so many facets. We're going to get into the music thing too, because you're a rock star, like legitimately a rock star, not just what people say, in addition to being a phenomenal artist. And what I wanted to start off with tonight is we're doing this Comic-Con, virtual Comic-Con thing and really devoting it to Star Wars is how did you get your start in fine art? Was this something that you wanted from, you were doing in high school, college? Did you fall into it later in life? How did you get your start where you were like, man, I want to do this for a living?
Well, I was lucky enough to be part of a third generation family of artists, from my grandfather to my dad, and then to me and my siblings. It's amazing because growing up, obviously we have a gallery slash studio by my dad, right in the tourist belt in Manila, Philippines, where I grew up. That's when I thought growing up, everybody was just jumping on the easel and trying to paint, trying to waste canvas and paint. Um, I started at early age of 9, that I thought everybody should do it, kind of thing, because all my brothers, by the way, I have like 5 brothers and they all paint, although 3 of the 6 became full-fledged artists, including myself. So yeah, that was it. I was like, I guess born with the smell of paint early on, and with all the cadmiums and cobalt blues and all those things.
Yes.
So I'm sure, I'm hoping that I don't have any kind of lead poisoning later on, but oh, it was just crazy because my dad would, help us prepare canvas. Mind you, back in the days, it was just shoe tacks, not staples and stuff. So, yeah, it was like old school. So, I was lucky enough to see those. And even on the tourist belt, there's a lot of, just like any other art town in the US, it's like gallery after gallery. So, across the streets, my grandpa's gallery, then my aunties, then some other national artists from the Philippines that I get the chance to see those and their styles as well. So it was amazing.
So did you find when you were younger getting to experiment with all this that there was you had kind of like a certain attraction to a certain medium where you're like, oh, I want to explore more of this. Clearly you had your parents, your family was pretty open with letting you experiment with stuff. Was there something that you started to gravitate more toward?
I mean, as far as obviously medium, at that time I only know oil. But I remember my dad would just not let us touch anything yet. I remember he said us master the pencil in the license shades, and he would allow us to um, observe. Let's say if the light is here, the shadow. How come it's this and that? Um, and even at that time, he would speak Spanish, like teatro oscuro or all these things. And in the beginning, obviously, as a normal kid, I just wanted to play, and be outside with my friends. But my dad would constantly have sessions with all of us, which to this day I think, that happened. And
Yeah.
of course, there's a little bit of, you know, pesos floating around our denomination. Like, okay, if you do this, I'm going to give you some money. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down here for an hour just to listen to you, So, yeah, I apprenticed with dad, just, I guess, watching him mix colors, and he would say, okay, clean my palette. So I would clean it and then watch him again, do portraits or do whatever subject matter he's doing at that time. And subconsciously, probably that's when I learned really to mix, colors, no perspective, no license shades, and all these things. Even before I went to college, take up fine arts painting. Um, it's very unorthodox the way what my dad learned, because my dad didn't really learn from school as well, and just with his colleagues and of course his dad. So there was such a mesh of styles and principles that I gotta unlearn and relearn in a way, because I end up having heated discussions with my professor, like, that's not do that, that's like the wrong anatomy or whatever. So, but my dad says there's only, there's no one right way. There's many ways of doing things. Like, for instance, like his style is from light to dark, kind of like watercolor,
Yep.
just washing everything first, and then he'll start from the farthest to what's forefront. And my style now is totally different. It's like I start with the darks. So I experimented of what I've learned early on, and just watching other artists do. I've learned to acquire. I'm still a student, man. I mean, this
Right.
the thing that I can say, even to my age of 62 now,
Yeah.
still a student. I love watching YouTube videos of different artists, and it's amazing how you can see them there, their process and all, and pick up one or two, tips on there. So
So what would you say, as you were growing up, like something that, I mean, obviously your family had a big impact on you. What was something that stuck with you that your dad really just imprinted? Like it was something that it's maybe a piece of advice or a philosophy in art or something like that, some tip, some whatever, that he was like, hey, this, and it just is stuck.
A couple of things probably that stands out. One is he said, don't chase after the money, let the money chase you. You know,
Ah,
that's one thing that to this day, um, it's like, yeah, bringing your A game in anything. And then the other one too is always have your honest emotions when you're dealing with canvas. I don't care if you paint a dark painting, if you have a bump with your wife or whatever, uh, then paint dark. But be honest. Be authentic on the canvas. Those are probably the two major things. Because a lot of times, and even I know you can deal with some of the music part as well. Even that, I mean, you want to play songs that you love
yeah.
that connects with you. So those are the things that resonate a lot to me. It's like I think if you're honest and you're authentic, um, then people will see that.
Well, and what what I find about your work, and like I said, I've known you for a while, and even before I got to meet you, I was following your art and being impressioned by that. Where when I would see the galleries and other things, I have stuff of yours, and there is it. I equate it to when I look at other artists. Like I love Monet. Monet's I'm a huge fan of Monet, and I wasn't until later in high school, early college, because I didn't understand or appreciate, that kind of art until I looked at it, realized how hard it was, and then could see all that they put in the colors and no black at all. Like, how are you going to create shadows with, and then, specifically Monet and Haystacks, that was it for me. I saw that live for the first time, and I was that with the canvas and
Wow.
looking at it and like, oh my gosh, and realizing that all this stuff that I was painting in high school, which was cartoons and sports and whatever, like fun stuff,
Right.
that my fundamentals weren't there yet. And I'm looking at someone and so when I look at your stuff and your pieces, like I can sit there and I can stare, and to your point earlier on that authenticity, man, the way you build color in your highlights and just the depth of stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, use purple, and I'm like, oh, that's what he did there. So there's so much to your pieces, in the dynamic of that, not just your subject matter, but how you paint it out, that I really, I came to appreciate very quickly. So and now that makes total sense where it came from. So as you get in through, college, you go to art school, you're
Right.
getting the thing. Did you have like I wanted to be an animator when I was in high school. That was the thing, right? Didn't work out. I have too much ADD for it anyway. So was there like a direction that you wanted to head?
See, that's the thing. I mean, when I was in college, I felt like, and modesty aside, I felt like I wasn't really learning anything. Like I said, there was like a clash, I would say, maybe that's the right word, of what I know already and what I'm learning from school. That's totally like, I cannot, it doesn't sink to me, or it's not coming together. So I end up always talking to my dad. I said, Dad, my anatomy professor, this and that, was telling us this. And he would say, he would always encourage me to um, continue. But I remember him jokingly, he said something like, well, you better get that piece of paper your mom wanted, because he didn't really graduate
Yep.
at all,
Oh,
in
okay.
fine arts. So, and he made it. I mean, when I say he made it, I remember during the 60s, and I was like, what, third grade, fourth grade? He was in the United States. He had a gallery right in Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills.
Really?
Yeah. And he was doing portraits of Bob Hope, Phyllis Diller,
What?
Grace Kelly, and all these people. And obviously, I mean, at that early age, he would send photos of, you know, Dean Martin with him or Bob Hope. And I would say, who are these guys, right? I mean, Only later on that I found out that he rubbed shoulders with those guys, and he didn't even finish high school, dude. I
Right.
mean, he finished like second year high, and he um, started art. And I would say that his strong point is really on portraiture. That's why he was sought after. In fact, one of the gallery owners of Wyland over here said that, Rodel, you won't believe this. Because I think he's friends with I don't know, connected to Phyllis Diller. So
Okay.
Bob Hope's portrait of your dad is over there. So he took a picture of it, and I haven't seen it personally. I would love to see it. So my dad passed away already 2004. So and just like any other son, I'm like a son, and he's my father. I wasn't conscious about I gotta collect the works of my dad. So I
Yeah.
only have maybe a couple of his works,
Really.
to my dismay, obviously. I mean, but I go to my auntie's house and I see works of my dad, which I should have collected. I should have been conscious, you know, because when he passed, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I don't even have his works, you know. So even now, I'm putting away some of my originals for my kids, because just like history repeats itself. They would go to my studio, borrow my stapler. They don't care if I'm doing anything, fantastic on the easels. And Dad, can I have money? Or Dad, can I borrow your stapler? It, it's the thing, man. A prophet doesn't have honor in his own hometown. That's what.
There you go. There you go. Well, that was going to be my question, was did that have an impact on what you do with your kids now, looking forward and be like, all right, I'm going to put some stuff aside, and clearly you are.
Well, I think with them too is like I know they could draw because I've seen them draw, but it's like I'm gonna go the other lane, kind of like me too. That's the reason why I went to music. It's like everybody's an artist. I want to be an artist, but maybe on a different field.
Yeah.
So to his dismay, he told me when I was like in high school and I was with bands already, and playing on pizza parlors and whatnot for $15, a night. But he says, son, you don't know how talented you are. But again, if that's your passion, he said, I don't care if you sweep the streets. If that's your passion, go ahead, go for it.
That's awesome.
So, and again, I value that a lot, because if you wake up in the morning knowing that you can do what you love to do, dude, you're already retired.
Absolutely. Amen to that, dude. I 100% agree. So I would that's a great lead in to because we're gonna get into Star Wars and dive in. And I've never, in the conversations that I've had with you before, usually it's at an event or something, and you get like 5-10 minutes here or there or whatnot. And and you've always fascinated me, like, just personally, and we have some similar life experiences that may not be as great. But like we have some similar things. We've chatted about that, and there was just more to you that I'm like, man, I wonder what that, like, I had no idea that your family was big into art. I had no idea about your dad, and what that relationship was like, and what he did. I find all that fascinating. And so, like, getting to know you more, right, I'm just going to tell you right now, dude, is a distinct pleasure and an honor. So I'm just going to say, and we're not done with the show, don't worry, there's plenty of time left. Thank you for doing this. So as we transition into this, you get into the art thing, you're thinking, all right, I can be a musical artist. And where did you, like, you were doing the pizza parlor thing, what launched it? Because no joke, people, this dude's a freaking rock star, okay? I've seen the pictures of him being mobbed. He's a rock star, and we're going to show a little clip. So how did that intro into the music side of things, like, where was that spark after, you played some gigs, you did it, and then it hit? And then what was the moment where you're like, oh, holy crap?
Well, just like I think any other musicians back in the days, and again, this is without the social media platform right now, because everybody now can record in their homes. Everybody now could be heard. I would say, because of the different platforms we have. But back in the days, and we're talking about, you know, mid 70s, 80s, 90s, right? Your goal is just, man, if only I can hear my song on the radio, that will be it, right? Um, and that was really my goal. I just want to hear myself on the radio. It's like, but of course, in order to do that, you got to write your own songs. You gotta have your own music. And the Filipinos love to do cover bands, and we did a lot of covers, like, during this the pizza parlor, and then little whatever coffee shops, and we just did a lot of covers from, Steely Dan, Doobie Brothers, Ken Loggins, uh, you know, Gina Vanelli, whatever. Um, a lot of my influence, I would say, and then started writing with my band. Now, the band that I started, I mean, there's, aside from the ones that are, the folk group that I did during high school, I mean, I would not mention that, but the band that really made it is the band called Side A, and that's with my brother, who's still with Side A now. So there's already different generations of Side A. We were the very first ones during um, mid 80s, like 84, when I formed Side A after my stint in Singapore. Oh, I mean, going backtracking a little bit, um, another step up would be if someone would hire you to play in Japan or Hong Kong or Singapore. So I did those tours as well, to work, right? You be in a hotel, play there for like 4 months, then transfer to another hotel, play for 2 months. So I was like, without any kind of name, but coming back to Manila, that's when I said, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to write songs. And so the thing that catapult is really the original songs that we did back in 84 that I would say, put Side A on the map, and we got recording deals. I heard my song on the radio, kind of thing, and then do the tours. So coming back to all these Southeast Asian countries as well as Side A was very different. Even coming here in the U.S., playing for Filipino communities here, which is amazing. So yeah, that was it. I think Side is like 30, well, I don't know, 35 years already. But this clip that you're going to show, it's like, we just had a small reunion, um, during COVID. So says, hey, why don't we get back together and just, because all of them now have their own respective bands and solo careers, but we try to uh,
Jam out.
just for this project. So.
Nice. Well, let's roll that clip. So Scott Ryder, if you can take that, it's a little taste of Rodel the rock star. Dude, so let me just say, that's what I think I sound like in the shower. In real life, I sound like a garbage disposal with a spoon stuck in it that's been turned on. You, on the other hand, sound freaking amazing.
Thank you.
What the heck? Was it, were you singing one day and you're like, all right, I can do this?
Honestly, I mean, I stopped for a long time. When I moved to Hawaii and pursued my art career again, which is, by the way, such a very cool thing, because, my dad had that lump thing that, okay, I know you're doing well in your music, but sort of like a full circle when I moved to Hawaii and I said, Dad, I'm gonna deal with art again. he was very happy. And that was 2002. And then '04, he passed. So I'm glad that he saw me go back to art, which is a very sentimental thing. And I'm glad that happened. So from 2003 all the way to the COVID, 2020, I didn't play any music. I was, just doing mile a minute, doing art full time.
So like you basically you got off the bike, and then you come back. What is it? 18 years later, and you can just sing like that without a problem.
No, I was wobbly in the beginning. Kind of like riding a bike, and I was very wobbly, very wobbly. Because again, there's a lot of new stuff. I was thinking, man, I've never seen these colors before back in the days. Because my dad would train us. These are 8 colors. You can get all kinds of spectrum on that. That's it. Mix them. And now you can have what, 96 colors?
Yeah.
You don't need to mix it anymore.
Infinite amounts. Yeah, you don't even need to mix it. It's
I know. So that's a new teaching for me, and very convenient as well too. So there are colors that, oh, this is so cool. I used to mix them. Now I can just paint them.
Man, yeah, squeeze it out, done.
Yeah. So yeah, I was wobbling in the beginning, but I'm glad I went back to it. So it was, again, from that to now, it was like another another 18 years, 17 years.
Yeah.
Then going back to music. Again, this is just a project. It's not like I'm fully gonna do music and stop art. This is just it's just fun,
Yeah,
Music,
absolutely.
such a healing thing. And we haven't really played together physically. I would love to do that once this craziness allows us, subsides, and I could maybe visit the Philippines and do like a real live thing together, because this is like just the magic of recording. I'm recording here, they're recording in the Philippines, and someone is just putting it together, which is super cool.
Well, I find that the moniker when I was in high school into college, you're picking your major, and I was fine art illustration was the major.
Mhm.
And it kind of, I think maybe the narrative that we tell ourselves a bit is like, oh, well, I'm going to just be an animator or an illustrator or a painter or whatever. Like we're that thing. That's just our creative outlet, when really we're creatives first. And the outlets that we express it can be painting, writing, whatever. It doesn't matter. We have all this stuff going on, and we're learning different mediums, and different, kind of ways and paths to just get that creativity out. And it didn't hit me until I was 28. That mindset didn't kick in. And I was like, oh, well, I don't have to just be a designer. Like it's okay for me to go try other stuff.
Right.
So I think for you to be like, yeah, I paint, I sing, I rock out, I whatever, that natural creative flow, and then you're just expressing it through different avenues. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's a communication. Music is a form of communication. Art is a form of communication. So it's just nice that we were able to do that. And by the way, man, I'm a big fan of yours too, because I thought, and apologies to a lot of the animators, I thought going to animation is just that's easy, but it's not.
No,
Oh my goodness.
no.
I was humbled. I remember when I got a license for Disney, I'm thinking, oh yeah, cartoons, Disney, let's do it, right? Man, I remember they gave me a PDF file. It says how to draw Mickey. Because I cannot draw Mickey. At that point, I was like, okay, I didn't know that there's supposed to be proportions and stuff, and
Yeah.
it was hard. So I that was a humble experience.
Yeah, I went through, I realize now, I wanted to go into animation. That was the thing. I got into Ringling School of Art and Design, which is awesome. Couldn't afford to go, whatever. So I ended up not graduating in 2 year school in 4 years. There's math in there somewhere. And but to your point, the whole, I love animation, love it, right? And obviously stuff that, you work on and whatnot is steeped in animated films. And man, the discipline, like we just had a Creativeside chat with Willie Ito, master animator and legend. The discipline to keep going. I couldn't concentrate on just one thing that long. I couldn't do it. I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
I think I would have been fairly quickly the coffee guy that was just getting coffee for people. That probably would have been it. So I want to get into this painting thing too. So you go from music and that outlet there, and you start in on painting again, and you bring back the art and you get licensed. Like that's got to be a pretty big deal. Like where you're painting stuff and then you get a major IP and you're licensed to do this stuff. Did you have, when you went into it, did you have a flood of ideas, that were rolling through, or was it kind of like, all right, I've got this style, we've got this thing, let's start with this? Like, how did that come about to where you're now playing in the wonderful world of animated?
Well, first of all, I would do a shout out for, obviously, I think one has to, if you're an artist, I mean, not just your talent, but a lot of it is, being in the right place at the right time, I would say.
Who man. It's all about who you know.
Yeah. So at that time, obviously, I'm working with James Coleman, and as we know, he was a background artist for Disney, doing Beauty and the Beast, Black Cauldron, and all those. And I was doing shows in Hawaii with him. So having a license is not even in my radar. Again, my mantra back then until now is just, hey, just put your 120% on your work. And I was doing from street scenes to seascapes to landscapes when I was in Hawaii. And, James and I became very good friends. And when I decided to move to California in 07, late 07, 2008, we had that crash, and the art scene became very soft, obviously, and I was having problems. And Jay just says, dude, do you want to try Disney? And I'm thinking, man, I'm not even an animator. I mean, I'm tickled if you, hey, let's talk and meet up with Michael Young and all these things. And it so happened that I got to it quickly. I learned how to paint cartoons and see where I can get a neat niche where I know my strong suit is on backgrounds anyway. So I did the 80-20 kind of thing, like 80% background and just a pinch of character here and there. But it became a hit, and so I was, again, it's a far-fetched idea to have a Disney license at that. So I was very honored to be included in that respected experience, deep resume on their own right, respective right, when it comes to Disney. And here's this Filipino guy that didn't even watch all the Disney movies. But that's why transitioning when Disney purchased Lucasfilms, or I was excited and thinking, man, I'm hoping I can get a license for Star Wars, because I feel like it's more my wheelhouse, since I love Star Wars, and I've watched them, over and over and over. I said, man, it can be super neat to have a license. And sure enough, they say the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So
and
I was
now
barking on everybody, who can get me a license? You know.
And now Rodel is playing in a galaxy far, far away, which is what we're gonna get into tonight. Which is, dude. So we're gonna nerd out on what I call more of the traditionalists, right? Which is the original trilogy. We had discussed, Rogue One. Loved that film. Like that to me fits that same feel of those original three films, and then of course The Mandalorian, because who doesn't love that guy, right? And so I wanted, the first time I saw a Star Wars piece of yours was the Battle of Endor, or no, what's the title? It's the Ewok Village.
Oh my goodness.
You know which one I'm talking about, right? I don't remember the title, but I remember the Ewok Village at night, and you had it lit up in all the colors. And I was in like downtown Disney or something, and I looked at that and I was like, oh. And then I went closer and I looked to the right, and there's your signature. I'm like, shut up, because I didn't know you did Star Wars at this point. And I'm like, and I know what your style is, and that's why it was a familiar looking piece. But I didn't know you did Star Wars. And then I was like, dang. So I was just staring at it for a while, and I'm like, I couldn't fit it on the plane. And I'm like, we'll get the limited on this for sure. I will get the Giclée on that. And just I think you're right. Your style fits into this world just so smoothly. And I wanted to get into like starting with, your first pieces in Star Wars. So what I wanted to show too is chuckjonescatalog.com, and you can see Rodel's all of our Comic-Con folder just for him. It's up the top, fourth link down. And we're going to get into all the Star Wars things, starting with the original trilogy. I want to show the Stormtrooper piece. Go ahead, Scott. Let's roll through a couple of these because we have some originals. I believe we have that original. Now, this is, of course, sequel trilogy. We can tell by the Stormtrooper helmets. That's how nerdy I am. And you can cycle through a little bit. And then you've got Bad Batch on the easel. Like this, there's how genius were they with Baby Yoda? That sequence when you see him at the end of the first episode of season 1, and you're like, holy crap, and the whole world goes nuts because they were able to keep such a great secret about that. And then, of course, Hoth. I love the pieces on this. Dude, just what is your, do you have a favorite? And again, if you've got questions for Rodel, pop it in the chat or pop it in the Q&A. Darnell, I see you got your hand up in the thing. Go ahead and pop a question in the chat. And I love this sequence, dude. When this happened, I'm not going to nerd out on this yet. We're going to nerd out on this.
Yeah, I was surprised too.
Yeah,
it was you.
We can go through our feelings, and I'll make the sound effects. But I also. So, what was the first piece that you did for Star Wars?
The very first piece I did for Star Wars was a Yoda portrait, because I love Yoda. And I just did a 11 by 14 portrait of Yoda.
Yes.
And then I did Darth Maul portrait. So I was just testing, the grounds, just getting my feet wet. And then I started doing those epic pieces, the big ones.
Oh, yes.
The 20 by 48, like Battle of Hoth, Battle of Endor. So I'm thinking, okay, all these battle scenes is awesome. I mean, you want to be able to create whatever, who's chasing what, and obviously the Millennium Falcon getting out of. So just the whole thing of just like kind of like composing a song, it's amazing. I mean, I think if there's like a similarity with music and art, it's the creative process. I enjoy that the most. I enjoy being in a recording studio from laying down the tracks of the drums, the bass, the guitars, the keyboards, until you see a full song. Same thing with a painting from a blank canvas, conceptualizing the painting and then enjoying the process, the creative process. So yeah, so that, and then I did also Boba Fett, Escaping the Pit, because going through Google and different fan sites of Star Wars, I found out that there's such a following for Boba Fett. I'm thinking,
Mhm.
and he only appeared like what 5 minutes with maybe a few lines. That's the one escaping the pit.
Yes.
That one was collected by George Lucas. So
Yeah. So I just want to pause on that for a second. This painting, which we have limiteds of, was collected by George himself. Now, you got 4 paintings that have been collected by George. This is one of them.
yeah,
And this is the one that we have a limited of. I I cannot, I don't even know what my reaction would be if I found out that I had done a painting that the creator of this entire universe has in his personal collection. When you found out that he had your piece and then another and then another, and then what was that like?
it's unbelievable. In fact, when nobody told me that he's going to get a piece. I think they got my number, and I was still in LA that time. So I got a call from Skywalker Ranch, and it was a woman. I forgot her name, but says, hi, I'm from Skywalker Ranch. Officer George Lucas, and Mr. Lucas wants to collect some of your paintings of Star Wars. At first, I'm thinking, okay, I know this voice. Somebody is trying to. So I was pretty much, trying to place the voice. I said, somebody's doing a prank on me. So I
Yes.
said, okay, so what's your number again? So I was like that, right? I was like, let me call you back, right?
Yes.
And sure enough, I called Acme, I called Scott, said, oh, they called you already? I'm like, that for real? So I started calling back, and you can hear her smiling already. I was like I told you, right?
Oh yeah.
So I was floored, basically.
You probably weren't the first one, by the way, that was like when she called to be like, Mr. Lucas would like to collect some of your pieces. You probably weren't the first one to be like, who is this again? Jenny, is that you? That's you, isn't it? Right? Like, you probably weren't the first one to do that. So,
Oh my goodness, yeah.
so she called up, and then again, we got people popping questions in. Malik, I'm going to get to your question here in a second also. So George is not, have you met George?
No, I mean, I asked her. I said, I'm willing to give another painting just for me
Yes.
to meet with him, or I mean, I want to just go get whatever you want to get, but not just one, but 4 pieces that he got at one point like that. And he says, oh, Mr. Lucas said he wants to have the first right of refusal on all your future paintings. So
Pause.
yes.
Excuse me. He's got first right of refusal to collect any of your originals.
Right. That's what he said to Acme, I think. So I think every piece that I submit, so I don't know how many already that he got, because probably Felipe could shed the light on that one. But
yeah, Felipe wants to put that in the chat. I am totally fine with that.
so yeah, it's that it has to pass through him, and then it can be for sale if he doesn't want it or something like that. So
that is freaking incredible.
I know, to be able to have the stamp of approval from the man himself. So
right, and to be like, Mr. Lucas will take this one. This one will not be available to the public. You may make a limited of it. Thank you very much, and ship it right to Skywalker Ranch. I would freak out.
Not only that, I was paid retail, right? Passing everybody, like nobody's gonna get anything. Like a check from Skywalker Ranch was sent to me.
Shut up. Did you frame it? I mean, obviously you cashed it.
Well, I can't. I have 10 cashes. But I took a shot of it. I should have prepared it for you. But yeah, I mean, I printed that thing, and because
dude,
it's amazing.
Did you frame it somewhere? Is it framed?
No, it's not. But it's I obviously I don't have the original check because I encash it.
Right.
But I have it printed, and I know that I'll frame it soon. You know how it is, man. We have all kinds of stuff going on here. There's so many. Uh, an artist, an artist. I mean, I want to say I'm pretty much organized, but see how weird my tablet is and my bookshelves and all. So
Dude, are you kidding? Do you see the chaos circus behind you? Come on.
I love it. I love it. There's so much going on.
There's a lot going on. You're okay, but you're far more organized than I am. So your George Lucas now is first right of refusal. He can grab any piece he wants. We say that casually at this point because it's old hat. And we get into the pieces that you start collecting. Now, I love what you did. We have limiteds from before, so we still have some limiteds from like earlier series, which is awesome. And those are on the chuckjonescatalog.com site. And when you go see, so let's take Rogue One, for instance, because obviously the original 377, 81, 85, or 83, something like that for those films. So they've been around for a while. You're able to digest those and kind of get into that. Do you have, before I get into the Rogue One question, do you have a favorite film?
Of Star Wars?
Yes, sir.
I would say Return of the Jedi.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Why is that?
Well, I mean, the New Hope, obviously, that's very special because that was the very first one. But I think I would say they perfected all kinds of. It's a more concise film to me in a way. I mean, I love, and I think if you notice, I mean, there's like this color scheme as well.
Yes.
That George probably intended to portray. How like the hot scene is all white kind of thing, and then when Endor, it was all green stuff with all the forest scenes and all. So I don't know, it resonated to me. I mean, Return of the Jedi.
We got that piece up too. Scott Ryder, take this piece.
That's the Battle of Endor right there.
Dude. So, I mean, you pretty much got it all in. How big is this piece? How big was the original?
The original is, I would say, 20 by. It's not a 1:2 proportion. I think they cut the size. It's a 20 by 48, so a little bit, not 1:3 proportion, but it's longer than a 1:2 proportion. So it's 20 by 48.
Wow. All right. So is this one that like George has as well?
No, that one is he collected Battle of Hoth. I don't know.
That's it. Battle of Hoth. That's
yeah.
So Mike Bartelmo, who's been awesome on all 4 shows for our Chuck Jones.
That one is the one that he collected.
That went all right. So Mike Bartelmo, yeah, that one right there. So Mike Bartelmo says that he's got the #1 of the Rodel enhanced Yoda that you sold to Lucas, and he says, "Thank you, Rodel." Nice.
Amazing.
So there's you've got into these films. You're painting what you love doing. Now you take the modern scene. So you're seeing films for the first time. You're kind of getting inspired back because it's going to lead us into Rogue One and then into the Mandalorian series. I think Rogue One it's my second favorite film, and it's a super close second from Empire for me. Right under there. You see that film for the first time, right? And then are you sitting in the movie theater, you digest what you've just seen, especially Vader at the end, just slaying it.
Yeah.
And you're like, I need to paint like 80 things from this movie. Like, what's going through your head when you leave something fresh from Star Wars in that traditional vein of things that you're watching?
Well, yeah, it's like, I mean, you can't wait to be on the easel or do sketches or your creative juices just flows because while they're watching, I mean, I would always say, okay, that's painting, that one,
Yeah.
like you're like, click, But obviously, I don't have photographic memory, so again, thank you to Google and and stuff, so you can get references from it aside from what's given to us, in advance. So it's just crazy, man.
So in that in that vein of things, as because I want to get into the Mandalorian stuff, and I'll say that in the Rogue One vein of things, I'm sequel trilogy. I'm gonna skip that for the moment.
Yeah.
But you go from Rogue One in that thing, and then Favreau and team bring out the Mandalorian, and I remember, when the whole Disney Plus thing, they're like, oh, we're gonna launch this thing, and okay, and the Mandalorian, and I had no idea. I was very interested. I'm like, all right, bounty hunters on the thing, and man, did they keep a secret? Holy cow, did they keep a secret? Because that I held a watch party here at the studio, and we watched because they streamed what was it, the first episode or the first two episodes within a week, and we all agreed not to watch and not to watch, any internet. And then of course you get to that sequence at the end where the pram opens up and you're like, what? and little man here is just, and you're like, oh, I want one. And then everybody wants one. And the fact that they had the foresight not to tell any toy makers or anything, not to give any of it away, and to let it just
merchandise. Yeah, it's amazing.
and that to me spoke to the level, and clearly they're making it up. My wife has pretty much most of this, which I fully encourage and purchase it for her.
So, not the one that talks and moves. No.
I know, but I have that one. I have the one that you touch the head and it does all the little.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. So
one of those, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You have to have that. All right, and here's my side little note on this. Right, I'm in Costco. Okay, and this is, I don't know when this was, sometime in the fall. I'm in Costco, right, and they had put it in their little email thing, and they had just put an entire pallet of those little pat the head and then he moves, and I had just gotten in, they had just taken the wrapping off, and I'm like, oh, I was going to get that for Stephanie for Christmas. All right, I should just get it now, because if you don't get it from Costco, when you see it, it's gone. So I put that in the cart, right? Do my shopping, leave. I had to come back a couple of days later for like dog food or something. Gone. And they said the entire pallet was gone in 2 days. And it is stacked. Like, we're not talking there's like 100 of these things. There's like 400, 500, 600 of these.
Oh my
God.
God. Yeah.
So, that feeling of that, like, what's going to happen in this Star Wars universe. And of course, this is in the midst of the sequel trilogy. 8 had come out. I'm not going to get into 8 because I forget 8 like that. And then, 9 was about to launch. And so, there's some whatever, and they get into it. When you saw The Mandalorian, and you get into that series for the first time, was it just a flood of ideas that?
Yeah, I felt like a kid again. I mean, I love the Mandalorian series. It's just like, the way I look at it, even though, let's say, you're not a Star Wars fan and you just watch Mandalorian, it's like you didn't miss anything, in my opinion. It's like it stands on its own.
Yes.
It's just amazing how, like, my wife, I mean, she watched Star Wars, but she's not really totally into it, but she's totally into Mandalorian. I mean, we were like waiting for the next, episode, and
you're like, is it Friday yet? Is it Friday?
yeah.
Like, does it drop at 12:30 a.m.? Okay, we'll watch it then.
In fact, when we got a new TV, I think it's like, make sure there's Disney Channel on that thing,
Yeah, we need Disney Plus.
You buy a certain brand, there's no Disney, you cannot do Disney Channel or something. I don't know.
Well, so I want to show some of your pieces from The Mandalorian, and let's kick in with the child. So the as nuts as people went for this, and have you ever seen? I've seen the Art of book. I don't know if you've seen it. All the iterations they had before they finally landed on this, which I think is brilliant. And I think you captured these scenes. Oh, we're going to talk about this scene in a minute. I think you've captured these scenes so fantastic, and this is what I'm talking about in your use of color. there's so much, all your shading and whatnot, like there's nothing like black in the shadow, right? It's not two-dimensional. It's all these are so three-dimensional. By the way, I lost my mind on this episode because this is where we were like, who's he communing with? Who's he communing with? He reached out to somebody, and she does such a fantastic job as Ahsoka. And then this is the quintessential father-son picture, right?
Yep.
If you're a dad or you're a son, this is the one that you need. Like if you're gonna start with this one. And we have this. Do we have the original on this? I think we have the original. I'm gonna check.
The original is still available from what I understand.
Which one is?
The other one, the Mando and the Child, or Grogu.
Yes.
And that one.
Yeah, so this one, we've got that on there. And then, so there's so much to like, I love the whole Western gunslinger aspect of, and the genres of film that they cover in each episode and the directors, the cup of soup thing. Okay, we have one of these and it's a incense burner thing. So incense is burning in little man's cup. And of course, this being the ultimate scene at the end of the first season when we're like, holy crap. What's about to happen? The Star Wars universe seemed to, at this point, come alive in a totally new way. So, was this something? I'm not going to say was it easy for you to paint. Was the idea like a no-brainer? Like, yeah, of course I have to do that.
You know how again, man, the scenes like after each episode where they would show artwork.
Yes.
My goodness, I was like drooling on those things, and obviously those are like concept art.
Yep.
You know that they based it on that, for the live action. I was like, after each episode, I'll be on the computer trying to screen grab whatever I can do and compose my own stuff for that. Yeah, it's just there's so much. Again, it's not. I would not take credit for anything because hats off on all those creators. I'm just tapping on their energy, dude. Their creativity. It's already there. You just got to tap on the thing.
Well, but the way you're able to capture the scene and how you compose, right, and your use of color, for me, is what makes it come alive. Because I love the art, I love the concept stuff, and I do the same thing as you. I just sit there and drool over all of it. And for those guys to create stuff from nothing, and be like, all right, well, we got to figure out what this looks like. But you put your spin on it as something that brings, and this is what I love about and why I like concept sketches really more than or animation drawings more than I like painted cells. Right. And why I like the way you paint is that there's a lot of energy in your brushstroke, and you have that style that like if it was so like meticulous, and clinical, I'd put it this way. If it was so clinical, I wouldn't feel the same way. It would be like a screen grab. That's what it would be.
I'm constrained because I want to, how would I say it? I don't second guess, I guess. I just, obviously I do a lot of layering, I do tweaking and all, but I love it to be painterly, that it's not like you're trying to make it into a very realistic painting, just like I said, very, mechanical, especially for Mando's suit and helmet. I mean, you want to be right on, but at the same time, it's nice to just do some blur lines and because people would know already. Just again, the play of colors and lights and shades. You don't need to do those fine lines, the shape of the ear part of the helmet, that kind of thing. Now, the ones that are essential, you got to put it right there.
Yes.
But I love the no second guessing, honest emotions. Again.
Well, and that's
it's kind of hard.
It shows on the canvas, and we're gonna get to your Bad Batch stuff too, because I want to see what's on the easel. But so, Rodel, I am a child.
Oh my goodness.
And so
I'm envious, dude. Oh no.
Now,
Oh.
I've done this for the third show. So Scott Dicken might be like, are we repeating ourselves? But I'm just gonna tell you, when we get to the scene where Mando does, and it's, do you see that, people? We're recreating a moment. Oh, lost, right? And so he pulls off this helmet. Now I want to get to the Mando where it's Luke and Grogu and Mando, and then we're gonna like we're gonna show what you're doing with Bad Batch. So Scott, hold on, I gotta get the number, and I will tell you which one it is. So it's number 5. Actually, we could do number 5 and because you have 2 of them. So we'll do number 5 and then we'll do number 10 because it's an intro and an exit. Okay, so we're watching the series, right? And
Yeah.
I want to get your reaction on this. I want to get your reaction on this also. I remember watching the series, and one of my friends kind of spoiled it for me, right? Because they didn't know I hadn't watched it yet. So I'm like, I don't want to know. And the moment they're in that command tower and they have an X-wing fly by,
Right.
dude, I got goosebumps, right? Because to me, the sequel trilogy, specifically 8, threw away Luke Skywalker. So like it didn't feel like Star Wars to me. It felt like something different. And so I was wanting that moment. And
Right.
so when that X-Wing comes in, and when he just lights up the blade and starts tearing stuff up, Vader style in Rogue One, and
Right.
then comes in, and then he like it's him. And
Yeah.
then he does the whole, where I couldn't fight like this in a hood and win. It'd be blind, someone would cut my arm off, right? And then the thing comes down and there he is. And I was like, right? And just lost it. Oh, dude, I was feeling great. I had the goosebumps. How did you feel?
Oh my goodness. I was jumping up and down. Honestly,
Yes.
I was like, just I didn't know. Like you, even though I know there's like spoilers that you could read on, I try to avoid them. I don't want to read anything. I don't want spoilers because I want to be surprised. I want to enjoy the show like a fan, and not like a fan. I'm a fan. So um, I'm thinking, wow, this is so great.
I mean, it was
And again, I can't wait to paint it and just go and man, this is like the epic thing.
well, and that's what I love about this piece specifically is it's what I felt when he walked into that room with his blade, like Moff, was it Moff Gideon? Moff Gideon knows he's in trouble. Like that you're about to face like the biggest of the big is walking in, you're dead.
Yeah.
And so he knows this is coming. The dude's just like force crunched dark troopers. And I think this scene in your piece, which I'm going to end up buying limited on, so Robert, just take more money out of charge my account again, is like that. This is my goosebump scene, right? And I think you captured it so phenomenal in the light coming from behind Luke as he's walking in with that saber lit up and just a look on little Grogu's face, right? And I freaking love it, dude. So I want to go from this to piece number 10. Actually, we could really, because let's go to 13. Let's go to 13 real quick. Is 13 is this is from the same, is this from the same scene where he's looking up back at Mando, or is this a different episode?
I think that's a different episode. Yeah,
Okay.
altogether. Yeah.
Still awesome and still feeling great. Now let's get to 10 and the exit scene. So I mean, you like R2 in there is a feel good thing. Like that's that nostalgic. R2's been in everything, and so to see him in there with him was friggin' awesome. And I think this scene here, especially with how you have it designed, just it brings in like I know this isn't the end. This is the beginning of something awesome. And really, if you're gonna buy the one piece, you should probably buy both. Bob from Maui wants to know if Rodel ever got a special preview footage or photos as an artist, or do you have to wait like everybody else?
I have to wait like everybody else, but I think if I try to ask, I mean, they probably would not give me the full episode, but stills they would give me, and that's why even for Mandalorian, I had that like a year before, and I know the Mandalorian is going to come, but there's only a few. I mean, they're still very careful not to give away the characters. I never knew about the child at all. When I got the first few stills of Mandalorian.
Well, and they kept Lucas secret for an entire year.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Same as you guys. I mean, I anticipated. I'm a regular dude waiting for the episode to happen Friday. So yeah, we're all on equal footing on that one.
So we go from The Mandalorian, which I'm stoked for Book of Boba Fett.
Oh yeah.
Mandalorian season 3 has already started production. Friggin' Obi-Wan series is in. These are my Obi-Wan robes, by the way. Thank you very much. And like there's so much coming out that I'm probably gonna lose my mind and my wallet on. But I wanted to get into what the current series is, and I watched you start this the other day, and the Bad Batch, and I love this Clone Force 99 and what they're taking essentially from post Order 66 into where this Empire thing and how this all kind of plays out. So I wanted to show your Bad Batch piece that you started, and just so I mean you're just laying it down.
Yeah, I don't know. My iPad is a little bit out of focus. I don't know why, but I sketched this the other day. You saw it, I think yesterday, or no, Thursday. And my process is always, obviously pencil sketch first, and then I try to, outline it on liner brush on some details that I don't want to miss. But eventually I'll cover the thing anyway. So I'll start with the darks or middle tones and then work my way up. So this is just barely first coating, first layer.
So are you working acrylics then oils? Are you working straight oils, straight acrylics?
I would do acrylic most of the time. If I could get away with just mainly acrylic, then I'll do that. But on some, like sometimes like for the lightsabers and stuff, if I could not get that effect, then I'll try to do oil on top of it.
Okay.
But I'll work on acrylic as much as I can, push it, and then if needed be, add oil on top of it.
So we've got Jenny in Cedar Rapids wants to know, Cedar Rapids, Iowa wants to know if you've ever been to Lucas's Presidio. I have, it's phenomenal, in San Francisco and seen any of the Lucas art hanging there.
No, I wish I know that he's building his own museum. And I'm hoping that I'll be included in that museum.
Oh, dude. I somehow, okay, I mean, you're kind of George's guy, really. I mean, at this point, like, they're like, I need to see your pieces first. Yes, that's approved, and I'll take it. I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to say the invite's in the mail, but I would be shocked if you were left out of that. And have you ever been to the Presidio at all? Like to see just where the Lucas Arts thing is? It's phenomenal. When you get a chance, check it out because it's wicked. So I wanted to the Bad Batch piece. Like, is there something about this series that just kind of grabbed you? Because we talked about it a little bit. You're caught up. I have 2 episodes before I'm caught up. What was it about this series that you were like, I got to paint this?
Well, I mean, in the beginning, honestly, like, because I started watching Clone Wars, but I wasn't. How would I say it? It's cartoon, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
although I love cartoon, but it's kind of like, it's a lot of new knowledge, right? So I stopped watching it. I mean, I would watch it whenever I can. And then Bad Batch came in, and I think, it's kind of like the same with Clone Wars, the way the cartoon was presented. But I end up just following it. I love the story. I love it, and that's why I'm looking forward to watching Clone Wars just to um, understand it more.
So there's, I'll just tell you right now, there's a lot in Clone Wars, especially as you get into it, that you see some connection. There's going to be certain parts I'd be shocked if you weren't like, I think I need to paint that. Like there's some certain scenes and sequences between legendary characters, i.e. Yoda, right?
Yeah.
And then with other legendary Jedi, i.e. Qui-Gon Jinn, not to give away any spoilers, but it's been out for a while.
Yeah.
That like I'd be yes. I'm just saying it might spark some stuff.
Yeah.
So, getting into Star Wars characters and the fact that you have a phenomenal singing voice, can you do any character sounds from Star Wars, like Yoda, Chewbacca, Han Solo?
Do a what? Sorry?
Can you do voices?
No.
Do your kids or grandkids, are they like, can you do Yoda? Can you just do the Yoda again while you're painting? Do they do that? No.
I might do a bad one. I don't know if I may sound a cross between Chewbacca and Yoda. I don't know.
So I have, like, my kids will be like, we'll see the thing on there and we'll goof around and they'll be like, do the Yoda. And I'm like, come on, dude, it hurts my vocal cords to do the Yoda, but we could try. So we'll see. Scott had asked about Yoda, I think, on the Daniel Killen show. No, it wasn't. It was Fabio, because we were doing the Chewbacca. So it was,
Yeah.
that whole, what was it? I didn't want to do the line, but it was, I can't do the do or do not. It's only when it gets into the higher register, then I'm okay with it. We'll do the Yoda.
That sounds good already. Just the.
Right? Like ice cream we will have. And then they'll be like, do another one, and I'll do another one. And by the time it's like a gurgly thing, and you're like, no more Yoda will do. Thank you very much. Somebody give me some saltwater gargle.
I know, man. That's just gonna hurt your throat.
Like how Frank Oz did that for so long, I don't know, but more power to him. So, in this wonderful world of art supplies, and I've asked this now for a couple of shows because I find it fascinating. So you go into your art store, right? I have a Blick art materials out here. That's my main art store, and so I go in and I get those things. And I don't know about you in like kind of process wise goes, but I'm sure you have certain supplies that you like to use and reuse. Like you've got your favorite things, and I've got my favorite. So when I go into Blick, I have like these Carindi, Ash, Ake, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce the last part. I probably should have asked since Thursday when we started doing these shows, and I still haven't. It's this non-photo blue pencil. I do all of my sketching with that first, right? Now, in my pencil case, I already have two. I've got, like, you can see on my art table, I've got two over there sticking in the pencil holder. I've got like 3 more. I use the crap out of them, but I don't use more than I buy. So I'm in the art store for like a tube of paint, and I wander past the pencils and I'm like, okay. And I just purchase, right? Did I need it? No. Did I buy it? Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'll go through and, like ink brush pens, these Pigma, Sakura ink brush pens. They only come in a pack of 3. It's a fine tip, a bold tip, and a medium tip. I really like using the bold tip, but it only comes in packs of 3. So you can imagine how many fine and medium tip ones I have because they don't get used very often. Now, I just passed the pencils on the way to the tube of paint that I need, right? And at the same time, I'm like, oh, it's kind of running out of the little ink in the bold tip. What did I do? I buy it. Like once a month, I buy these freaking things. Did I need it? No. Did I buy it? Absolutely. And then we get into like paper, and I like a Strathmore Bristol paper. It's a bright white. It's delicious. Right. And I like an Artigane Strathmore black smooth paper when I'm doing colored pencil stuff. Now I have like 4 packs, right, of each. And mind you, I'm going in for a tube of paint that I still haven't reached. So as I go past the pencils and the pens, I make a right turn instead of a left, and I'm going down the paper aisle. Guess what? It's on sale. $6 for a pen, right? 9 by 12. So it's my favorite. Did I need it? Scott Dickin, yes, you've seen this. It's okay. I'm just going to continue because Rodel doesn't know yet. Did I need those pads of paper, Rodel? No, but they were $6. Did I buy them? Absolutely. Have I made it to the paint? No.
No.
And then by the time I get to the place, right, brushes are right next door. And for whatever reason, the number 4 round, right? Do I need it? No, I have like 8 of them, but I bought it. And then I finally get my tube of paint. And that happens like once a freaking month. So my question to you is, your favorite art supplies, when you go into an art store, is there something where you're just like, yeah, I'll get it? You don't, maybe you use it, but you may not use it as much as you need to replenish, but you buy it anyway.
Well, I mean, I end up buying a lot of stuff like Prismacolor that I don't use. And I think I got a set of 24, 36, 96, whatever that is. And it's still here.
Yes.
It's not even, it's not even open, I think. And then like I showed like this one here, I even bought the case. So I have all kinds of
Oh, yes.
colors.
Yep.
Another set. And I said, okay, I want to do, colored pencil, which I think I tried for a couple and then never use it again.
So
I got so many stuff here that it's outside of the acrylic and oil. Even like this. I don't know what this is. I haven't even used this. This guy like a car. It's like,
but you bought it.
Made by Bic. Yeah, like a cheap, pencil pen or whatever. But I never use it. But I know my kids will, when they're here, like this gouache. I got so many things here that I never got a chance to use. Soft pastel.
Yes, I've got those. I've never used them.
I never used them. Still intact with
pristine.
So it's, and then those markers. I got
Copic markers. Are they the Copics?
The different pencil cases. I even got this one pencil case too.
Yes.
Charcoal and
See,
stuff.
I knew we were like simpatico, right? I knew it. So I've got right. And do you know what all of those are? Medium tip brush pens. I don't even need the ones that I got. I have 4 of them in here. What do I need that for? And on your point, dude, I bought this. But it gets better. This is I'm gonna travel with case, right? And so I'm like, oh, okay, now I need to get a 200 one because now I don't buy full price, Rodel. I go for the sales, okay? So you'll appreciate this. So I bought this, right?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, dude. Oh, I mean, it's like, right? It's so delicious.
How many colors are those?
There's 150 in here.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Now I'm using like 60 of them, right? But I need to get another 200 case because this is my 72 case. And then for whatever reason, I'll have 2 different cases. And because I'm OCD about it, I only use certain colors when I'm doing certain things on other paper.
Right.
I don't know. It's a thing. I am glad, Rodel, you make me feel more like it's more accepting to be like, well, he does it. So yeah, of course.
So like every week or so, I get boxes from Dick Blick, whether it's a spray or some brushes. By the way, I love using cheap brushes.
See, we just had this conversation with Fabio yesterday. Yes.
Like this set right here, because I love the feeling of this made in Thailand. So you buy them in bulk. Because I love the feeling of newness. And after about the 3rd painting, and I don't throw them away. So it's not seen here, but I have like a whole cabinet of used brushes. And my wife saying, are you still going to use it? I said, no, but I look at it like that, I mean, I could show you a lot of, I got like.
Yes. Because you never know, man. You never know.
Well, I mean, sometimes my brother would come out here and, says, can I grab some brushes? So go ahead. I don't even want to, he'll just.
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
That's what I do with my kids. They're like, hey, I buy 6x9 or like 10x10 canvases in bulk. They're all over there. They have their paints. Daddy, can we use the, sure, either my 16-year-old daughter or my 5-year-old daughter or my 3-year-old son will be like, well, can I? Yeah, sure. They know which brushes they can take. But to like your point, I'm like, I don't have these $80 brushes. I'm like, do you know what I got at Blick? I got like a pack of 12 for like $12.
Yep.
Score. And they work great.
Yeah, I mean, because it's the same thing. I mean, you buy those good ones. I mean, yeah, it would last a little bit longer, but I mean, it's gonna be like this after.
Right. And then I'm using scissors and I'm trying to chop it up and I'm like, no. And don't worry, people, this isn't like a strip show where I'm just going to keep taking the robe is very hot and it doesn't breathe. And it's all Star Wars anyway.
Nice.
Yes. Oh, dude, are you, so, we've had this conversation with people, obviously, that you can see my studio is kind of like a giant toy factory. But are there certain like these things that you have around that like you surround yourself with in your studio? Like I got
a Stormtrooper helmet, not in my studio because I got a music studio upstairs where I keep a lot of my little memorabilia like Finn and whatnot. I gotta show this to you. I thought I'm like ordering a Grogu head, and I didn't know it was like from China. Oh, this is so cool. I mean, you're gonna hate me for this, but
no, I want to see it, and then we're gonna get to your gift with purchases, which are sketches, which are gonna be.
I thought I'm gonna give it to my grandson. A token Grogu, but when I opened the box, look what I got. An ugly.
Wow.
I'm like, What is this? It's not, doesn't even.
Somebody didn't put the time in. That's what that is.
Goodness. But it's better. It talks back to you. I'm thinking, okay, I'm just gonna keep this here because it's so ugly.
It's like a gremlin. It's almost like a gremlin. Amazing. Yeah, that one.
Oh my goodness. So I said, I'm gonna keep this, but they returned my money. I said, man, wrong ad that you guys did. I mean, I want my money back. And I said, should I return? I said, no, don't return it. We're just gonna send you your money back.
I'm like, don't bring it back to us because we already have enough. Wow.
One ugly thing. Look at the nose.
What even is that, a flap? Is it just a flap? Wow. That is.
This is ugly.
That is
compared to yours. I'm like, oh my goodness, I want that.
Yeah, you want like this guy right here this is it. Like if you're gonna do it. So I wanted to get to your gift with purchase sketches also, because if people buy anything today, right? We've got all those limited editions, we got those amazing originals that you have. You showed these, like I saw pictures of these come through an email this morning or something. I'm like, what? And then you brought them out and showed them on like right before we went live, and I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, these are
go ahead.
Like pencil. Just
so if people like, we've got 4 characters that you'll sketch for them as a gift.
So this is Mando.
Yes.
Like, I would say maybe 10-minute sketches. This is obviously Grogu.
And you can pick from any one of the 4, right?
Yeah, and then obviously one of my favorite guys, Yoda.
Yes, which is brilliant. It reminds me of the painting.
Yeah, and then of course
you got to go with the deadliest Sith of all.
Any of these guys,
So if people purchase anything tonight, this is what Rodel you pick from. So if I buy 4 pieces, can I get all 4?
I can send this to you right now.
There you go. So
what's this? I'll send this to you too.
Yes. That's the bonus gift. That's the kind of yes. You get the imitation Gremlin Grogu in addition to the wonderful gift with purchase sketches. You know, I wanted to cycle through a few more of the pieces, Scott. So if you want to go through it and show those, we'll jump those on here. So Rodel, you know, as a creative, and you know, now seeming like there's like an endless supply of inspiration coming from these things. Do you like, how do you, is this something you're like, man, I'm going to be busy for a long time?
Yeah, I mean, I am again like keep doing it, keep it going. No, I mean for me, it's like I said in the beginning. How many people wake up in the morning, can wake up in the morning knowing that they could do what they love to do and earn from it? You know what I'm saying? So I think
Absolutely.
we're a minority. So many people wake up dragging themselves to work or with no work, you know, because of the pandemic. Um, we're the lucky few, and I gotta put my foot on the ground all the time, knowing that obviously everything comes from above. Uh, God
Amen.
has blessed
Amen
me
to
with
that.
God has blessed me with so much with the art and music, and I can't ask for more. I mean, this is such a treat, you know, every single day that I'm able to just be in my studio, even just be in my jammies, prepare coffee and paint, you know, paint away. Or if I get tired, go out to my studio upstairs, to my music studio, record something, or play guitar. And I got my guitar collection upstairs. It's the quality of life, I would say. Even at this age right now, for me, I feel like uh, I'm very very blessed. You know.
Absolutely. Well, you know, and I don't believe in coincidence. So I don't believe that things are the luck of the draw. I believe in divine path, you know, and God is obviously gifted, you know,
Right.
talent. And then it's our responsibility to do something with that and not just let it go to waste.
Mhm.
And so you know, I love that aspect of you as well. And I wanted to say, as we wrap our final show tonight for our virtual Comic-Con with the Chuck Jones Gallery, I mean, you are the perfect exclamation mark on this weekend, man. And because there's a, you know, I've known you for a while, and I've gotten to learn new things tonight, even in insights. And I've had such a respect for you professionally for a long time because I love what you do. I love how you do it. Personally, we connect on, you know, on things that, you know, life experiences, that kind of stuff. And I have a great respect for you there as well. And getting to know you more only amplifies, you know, my, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Just my appreciation and admiration of you. And you know, I thank you so much for coming on and doing something like this, and just, you know, opening up yourself to the audience, and you know, being so free with what you're doing and painting and what you feel about stuff and how you pull it off. I think it's important for people to see that, because it's one thing to see a piece of art, you know, and connect with that. And then I think to the greater the degree, it's more important even to know the artist and what went into that, because this is a piece of you going on a canvas. And like you mentioned earlier, you know, your passion and your drive and what you're feeling is coming out. If you're not feeling it, you're not painting it.
Yeah.
And you can tell in the pieces that you've done what you put into it. And that's what I think makes, you know, everything so special. So there's chuckjonescatalog.com. You can take a look at all of that we have in for Rodel and Star Wars. The gift with purchase sketches are insane. You get to pick from one of the four, or one of the four for each one that you buy. So if you want the complete set, you just get 4 pieces, and along with some amazing originals and limited editions. So, you know, as we close it out, dude, thank you so much again for doing this. I so respect you. And then what would you like to say as parting thoughts to the audience?
Well, first of all, those of you that have purchased my art from the beginning, or will purchase or have purchased recently, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Um, this is what we love to do, and to be able to be part of your home, include us artists, you know, in your home. I'm a collector myself. I love collecting pieces. even though it's a work of an 8-year-old, but if it connects to me, it connects to me, and I don't care if they're famous or not. I'll hang it and look at it and enjoy it. So thank you so much for listening to me and Ben and all our jokes and whatnot. Some can be nonsense or whatever, but
Oh, you're good.
it's fun. It's fun, and uh, I'm looking forward just meeting with you guys personally. Do take care. It's not over yet. The game is not over. There's so many things happening still, and stay safe. Uh, and hope to see you in one of the shows.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, and I want to say, let your consultant know which sketch you want when you do purchase. So it'd be like, I'll take the Yoda, please. Thank you very much. Or the Mando. But yeah, dude, I'm out there for 2 weeks in September. Maybe at some point I'm looking to get together with whoever, whenever. So we'll see if something connects. But love you, man. Love everything you're doing. Thank you so much for coming out. To everybody who's watching on Zoom tonight, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thank you for your questions. For everybody watching on Zoom as well, we really appreciated this. Have a great weekend. Later, everybody.
Thank you. Peace out.
Later, buddy.
Thanks, Rodel. That was